I'm making you wait for another flipping month or something. Sorry. Remember me saying I wanted to do this every week, if not twice a week? Who was I kidding? I hope you're all very well and you've been having lots of lovely sewing fun in my absence from here. I'll give you a little update on what's been going on with me. I had another visit from Jenny Jones. I know this is out of the ordinary, it's not normal. Jenny Jones, my sister, came to stay again because if you watch my last video you'll know that she came to surprise me during our spring break here, which was just the best thing ever. Anyway, a couple of weeks after she'd gone back home, she texted me and she was saying, "Oh Lou, I'm sick of this grey weather. I'm severely tempted to come back and see you again." And I was obviously really encouraging that. And then she realised that she had the first week of May booked off as a week off anyway, and she'd made no plans for it. And I was like, "Look at flights." And she did. And she found a really good flight. And she came over to see me again. And the other good thing, I feel less guilty about making her spend that money on a flight, is, well, it's kind of bad. She was delayed at Heathrow for like 5 hours. But anyway, she's since claimed compensation and she's got the price of the flight back and some. So really, it was obviously meant to be. All's well that ends well. So Jenny was here. Yeah, we had a great time with her again. Cugs was at work this time, he was at school. So it was just mostly Jenny and I playing and being sisters and going out eating lunch, and she was brilliant taking photographs of my Me Made May outfits because Me Made May started while she was visiting, and she was such a great little photography slave. She was brilliant. My Instagram sister, wife, photographer person she became. She was dead patient and fab. Yeah, so that was wonderful, and I just seem unable to record anything like vlog wise whilst I've got someone visiting. Don't know why, it doesn't really make much sense, but I find it hard. So that happened. Then I was working again, temping at school again, and I've got another 2 full weeks of that coming up, so you probably won't see me for about 6 weeks after this. But yeah, so I did a bit of extra work and that was great as well. So that's all the latest news that's been going on in my world. I'll show you what I'm wearing today because it is the 16th of May today. I do have a date on this watch. I'm not doing that thing that people do when they look at the watch to check the date, even though the date's not on there. It genuinely is. It's the 16th of May. So I'm wearing a little handmade something I'll show you. Oh, I'm very close. This is a little self-drafted skirt that I made with cute circular patch pockets too. It's just got a really basic elasticated waist and a pretend tie that doesn't even go all the way through it. It's really basic and cute, and it comes to like just knee length, and I put, well, a lovely thick hem that makes me very happy. You can't really see it on the bottom of here, but it's like that thick. And I hand stitched it as well, which was something that brought me joy. So this little fella, I don't wear it very often, but I wore it yesterday for Me Made May and realised that another ready-to-wear top I had matched the blue colours in those flowers. And this new t-shirt that I got from Mango a couple of weeks back when Jenny was here has got scissors on it. Obviously I couldn't leave it there, I had to have that. And look, this goes with it as well. The mustardy colour in it is just the same as that. Who'd have thunk it? So that worked out well. Let me just have a little notes peep. Sorry, brain fog coming in. Oh yeah, I'm in here. I'm in a funny setup at the moment. This room is still set up to be Jenny Jones's the bedroom for Jen. Normally I have my sewing room in here, but it's still out in the living room, my sewing table. So that's why I'm in here. But I think this works quite well as a little vlog recording nook, don't you? Okay, so moving on. The real reason that I'm doing this video today is to talk to you about the Handmade Summer Dress hashtag challenge, which the lovely Lisa Kish and the lovely Andreanne of And So On, and Andreanne, I've forgotten your YouTube channel. I'll put it in the notes. Don't worry, it'll all be there. They asked me to be an ambassador for that challenge, which I just thought was delightful, and obviously I couldn't turn it down. So all you had to do was make a summer dress, and I did that, and this is the result. I think what I'm going to do is put some photographs in this. Obviously I'm not wearing it today, but I've got great photos that Jen took for me, so I'm going to add those into the video. I might put one at the beginning and more afterwards. So I'm going to take it down and show you now and talk you through it. Okay, so this is the dress. It's got little spaghetti straps, princess seam bodice with loads of buttons, box pleats, and then it comes all the way down to sort of midi length, really. I did it midi length. It's got square patch pockets on the sides, which I cut out really carefully to make sure those stars were in the middle. And at the back, this was my kind of pièce de résistance. I did these elasticated parts here. Now, this dress, I think it's the most complicated thing that I've made, perhaps bar the wrap dress that I self-drafted and had to figure out the construction of myself. This was more complicated than that. However, that wrap dress was more of a challenge because there was so much figuring out to do. I had no instructions, obviously. I always think of that as my biggest dressmaking challenge so far. But technically there was more going on with this one. So it was a make of many firsts for me, actually. So the pattern that I used is the Mimi G style Jessica dress, which I got for free. I'll see if I can maybe link to the video on here. I don't know if she's still doing it, but she posted a video and said, I'm going to share this PDF pattern as a free thing for you. If you sign up to my newsletter, you get a code and you can get the pattern for free. And I was just so happy to see that, because maybe about 2 or 3 days prior to that, I had seen a dress in mango as well. I like mango. That was exactly the same cut, and it was gorgeous. It was made out of thick striped material, and the stripes had been cut on the bias on the princess seam panels, and that I just thought it looked lovely. And I thought, I want something like that. Anyway, that Jessica dress pattern is the same, basically the same. So I was really pleased that she said, hey, come and have this for free. And I was like, yes, please. So I did. And then Lisa asked me to be the ambassador for the Handmade Summer Dress challenge, and I thought, yeah, this is what I'm going to make. Anyway, the fabric, guys, is from an old duvet cover. It's an old H&M duvet cover that I got in the sale, oh God, a couple of years ago maybe. God, we didn't really use it anymore. It didn't go with my plan for the decor in our bedroom, which hasn't even started happening yet. But anyway, I thought, cut up the duvet cover, it's fine. You won't miss it. And so the duvet cover itself gave me a few challenges, because as you can see, this very geometric pattern on it is fab and amazing, but it wasn't even. If you looked at a piece of the fabric, yeah, the stars are all coming like down like this, but they're also going down like that, and the side bits of each star is different. So there was a lot to try to consider if you wanted to pattern match it, and I think I did a pretty decent job considering what I was up against. I was quite proud of myself. This is the back. I'll show you the back skirt panel. I managed to get the stars all the way down the middle, which is great. And as I say, I got the stars slap bang in the middle of the patch pockets as well. So that was great. The other challenge about this fabric was that it was not see-through, but I think, well, yeah, a little bit see-through actually. It's 100% cotton, but you can't see it here, but the skirt, if there was a light shining through, a bright light shining through the back of me, you would definitely see the outline of my legs. But I didn't mind that. I wasn't going to be in front of any bright lights. However, for the bodice, I thought, no, that fabric's too thin for the bodice. And I knew I probably wasn't going to get a bra on underneath it. So this is another first, I fully lined the bodice. And I've never lined anything before. The dress wasn't, the pattern was, had facings. So it wasn't, you know, it didn't have a lining pattern, although I know that you basically cut the same pieces, so that was why it wasn't too hard. I managed to do that. I figured it out okay. And as I was fitting it, I started to realise that the bodice was actually a little bit on the snug side. And I don't know about you, but once I've started on something, I'm like, oh, I don't want to undo it and start again. So I like think, well, how can I change it? So what I did, oh, sorry, this was the other thing that I decided I wanted to try and do was the back panel here was just another panel. It was supposed to be another panel of the Princess Seam bodice. I decided I wanted to make it a fully sheared panel at the back. I had one spool of shearing elastic, and I'd never done it before, and I practiced on a piece, and I knew it was going to become shorter, so I'd need to double the width of it. However, it became shorter this way as well, so it was too thin, like horizontally, to fit into that space there. It wouldn't fit, and I'd used up all of my shearing thread, so I couldn't do another one. I didn't really know where I could get more here without going online. So I was like, right, okay, I'm not going to do the sheared panel, I'll just do the normal panel. So I did it as it was, made it up, and then it turned out to be quite snug, and I thought, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to fasten it. So I did unpick that back panel, I took it off, and actually quite enjoyed the process of unpicking it. I just sat down, a cup of tea, did it nice and slowly, and it was all right. It was quite enjoyable because I knew what my plan was, and this was my plan, to put two strips of elastic encasings there. Now, how I did that, it was kind of difficult to figure it out, but I got my two bits of elastic, made the casing, put them through it, and then placed them on top of the panel that I'd cut out. Because that panel was ever so slightly shaped, it sort of became narrower at the bottom than it was at the top, and I thought, I can't just put the same width elastic in there. Well, maybe I could have done, but I was being fussy. So I placed them on top of that and marked with disappearing fabric marker the exact seam lines where I wanted to sew across these, so they are like angled rather than straight. They go in like this, and the same here. And then just, I mean, I needed to line it definitely for doing that. The facing wouldn't have been good enough because I think it would have just pulled it out. And I managed to do it. So I figured out that bit of construction myself. I did make mistakes, and this part I need to address it. I need to fix it, because the bottom edge here of, sorry, the top edge of the skirt at the back, it's just folded over, where this should have been tucked up inside the lining. It's loose now, and these little corner sections where it all meets are a little bit weak. They're weak, so I need to figure out a way to sort of stabilise all that a bit better. I put some hand stitches in. I heard when I was wearing this in the taxi, this one ripped a bit. So what I'm thinking is of maybe I could get a bit of bias binding, maybe a bit of bias tape, and like put it back underneath the lining, stitch the lining down again, and then stitch the bias tape along there. I don't know, but it needs some kind of reinforcement, because yeah, they're weak points, and I feel like it won't survive another wear if I just leave it like that. So that was another thing that I did. I made it my own that way. The other thing that I did to make it my own was to put these box pleats in on the skirt instead of gathering it. On the original pattern, it's just a simply gathered skirt. I wanted to make a more sort of structural effect, and I've always had a thing about box pleats before I could sew. I just love them. I love that crisp, clean, you know, I just love it. The loveliness of it's gorgeous. And also I've always had a thing about elastic encasings. What does this say about me? I don't know. I don't know what it means, but they're just things, they're just aspects of clothing that I love. But yeah, the box pleats, I wanted it. I thought it would help to accentuate the geometric pattern, the print, and, you know, just give it that really very clean, structured look, that cos look. And yeah, I think I pulled it off. It worked quite well. The other thing I was panicking about, once I'd put the elastic bits in the back, I was still thinking, oh God, it's still quite tight. And my solution to that was to shed loads of buttons in here, because on the original pattern I think there were only like 3 or 4 maybe. But I really love the way that's turned out. I was really, really happy with it. And I went for red buttonholes as well. God, all those buttonholes. That was quite a challenge. They're a show underneath the buttons, I'll tell you that now for nothing. They look an absolute holy show under the buttons. But who knows? Only you and me. Doesn't matter, does it? Because the buttons cover them. So what's the problem? Yeah, and then further down the bottom I used the same buttons but with white buttonholes, and these were a clear version of the same button. These little buttons were just ones that I had sitting in my stash. Can you see them? They've got like a kind of, don't know if it's focusing, twinkly, not twinkly but sort of marbledy, textured, well they're flat but there's something inside them that gives them like a little bit of pattern. You only see it when you look closely, but I love them. And they were from a funny little cheap Japanese shop called Daiso here that I may have mentioned before, I don't know. Love Daiso, it's basically the Japanese pound shop and it just rocks, it's amazing. So yeah, I had those little buttons in my stash and that's what I used. So yeah, how many changes did I make? I did the elastic in the back, I put box pleats instead of gathering, I fully lined the bodice, I put loads of buttons instead of just a few. Oh, I lengthened the skirt as well. So they were the changes that I made, and the firsts for me were a button band, I'd never done that before, princess seams, never done that before, never done lining before. Yeah, it was a real, you know, meaty for me make anyway, and I really loved it, and I was really, really happy with the way that it turned out. And I wore it to a Mexican Cinco de Mayo brunch, and it went down very well, and it was super, super hot. It was outside, we didn't get a table inside, we were outside, and it was, I think it was over 40 degrees, well, it felt like it was anyway. So this was definitely the right thing to be wearing for that. So happy days, it was wonderful, I was really pleased with it. Let me know if you've got any ideas about how I can, you know, reinforce these little corner sections here. I don't know if you can see very well, but yeah, I need to do something. I haven't washed it since I wore it to the brunch, but that's because I'm worried about it falling apart. I want to do the mending on it before I wash it. And also I just needed to do this video. I thought, come on Luke, you've waited long enough, just film the video. So I did. I've got loads of this fabric left as well. What shall I do? Tell me, give me your thoughts. Okay, so the only other thing that I have got to show you today is, this is a little bit heartbreaking. The other gorgeous hashtag challenge that I wanted to enter as a participant, not an ambassador, was a little lawn party, which was organised by the Bright Blooms, Atia from the Bright Blooms, and Handmade by Ditsy Tulip, and it was a lovely challenge. And I had decided to make another pair of Megan Nielsen culottes plus a little top out of the green dotty fabric that I had from Ukraine. If you've watched my Make 9 video, you will have seen me show you this fabric. I'd originally planned to make a penny shirt dress, that was from my Make 9 plans with this, but I realised I didn't really have quite enough fabric, and this is what I decided to make instead, so I'll show you. This is the beginnings of them. Okay, sorry, they've been folded up in a bag, and I'll explain why that is in a moment. Yeah, I decided to make these for a little lawn party. Obviously didn't get in there in time, and the reason for that was I had on Saturday all day, and I thought, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get at least the culottes made. If I don't make the top as well, I'll just enter the culottes into the competition. Spent all day. What I decided to do was, I'll show you my original Megan Nielsen culottes. They've got these lovely little release tucks at the top, Megan calls them, release tucks here. And I really love that feature, but I had decided that I wanted to make the next pair, the green dotty pair, flat fronted, and also rather than have this tie fastening, which is gorgeous, I love it, I wanted them to be flat fronted with button fastening, which you can do as part of the pattern. And Megan Nielsen has done a brilliant tutorial on how to change your pattern piece into a flat front. So it's how to take out the release tuck and to make it flat fronted. So I thought, right, I'll just follow that tutorial. I'll show you a link to that. It's a great tutorial. And I did. So I retraced my pattern pieces, followed all the instructions, did that, traced them off, cut out all my fabric, decided to do contrast pocket linings again. Love that fabric. Did all the construction, got my pockets in, understitched the linings, you know, did the darts at the back, did every seam, finished every seam. I did absolutely everything up to the point before you attach the waistband. And when I was about to attach the waistband, it didn't fit the waist of these culottes. By this time, it was about 8 o'clock and I was working Sunday and Monday. So I knew I'd just be wiped out Sunday and Monday, wouldn't be able to do anything. The challenge finished on Tuesday. And I was like, okay, why has this happened? Why? Anyway, I figured out I had not followed the instructions properly on the changing your pattern piece to a flat front. I'd just totally done it wrong. I mean, it was a little mistake, but it made a big difference. It meant that this waistband was wider than the waistband that needs to be attached to them. It was terrible. I was so sad. So I was like, right, I need to redraw the pattern piece. I took the pieces into work and did that on the lunch break, redrew them. I also took my seam ripper into work, but as you can see, I've not done it yet. It was I was too sad. I was too saddened by it. So it didn't happen, and here we are the day after a little lawn party's finished, and I have a wrong pair of culottes and nothing entered. But you know, sewing mistakes, they happen, don't they? I've got a lot of unpicking to do here. I don't want to work around this fabric. I love it. It was special. I bought it in Ukraine when I was visiting my best friend there, and I want these to be good. So I'm gonna do all the unpicking as much as it takes. I'm gonna redraw these pieces, cut them out right again, and start again and do it all over again. And surely it'll be worth it, people. Tell me it will be worth it. Will it? Will it? Will it? Please. Yeah. Anyway, and I want to make a little top to go with these. I was thinking about making, if you've got the Great British Sewing Bee book that's got casual trousers in it and a jumpsuit, I think, the top part of the jumpsuit, you can make a little cami out of it, and it's like this shape. Dink, 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 with a ruffle there. I want to make it straight. I want to take off the ruffle, put a facing in instead, and put the same straps with ruffles on the straps. Do you get me? Great description there for you. And that's what I want to wear with these. Don't know what for. What do I need them for? I'm going to a wedding actually in July. Maybe I could wear it for that. What do you think? Let me know. Okay, so that's the latest on all of that. Next makes up and coming things. I've promised my best friend Holly, who lives in Kiev in Ukraine, I've promised her that I'll make her a hoodie for her birthday, which is in 2 days, but I'm not going to see it till August, so we don't need to make it yet. I'm going to make her the Stella hoodie from Love at First Stitch, and she wants lovely, she's classy, Hol, she's got great taste. She wants navy quilted French terry with perhaps a bright orange or neon orange drawstring in the hood, and we're going to get these lovely navy ribbed cuffing stuff from this brilliant company. I've forgotten the name of them, but it was Gabardashery who shared it when she made her Stella hoodie. I'll share it in the notes. Sorry, I'll share the link in the notes there. The selection of cuffs they've got is just amazing, all gorgeous patterns and everything, and I think that'll look really nice. So that's one thing I'm going to make. Next thing for me, I think maybe I'll try the Bloomsbury blouse, or perhaps I might manage to do my Freya top that I want to do. I still haven't made anything from not Love at First Stitch, from Stretch. But yeah, in other news, this is mega exciting for me anyway. My husband, Cuggers, he was like a grade 6 football coach this year, like as an after school activity, and you get a little stipend for doing it. And he got it a month ago and bought me a brilliant camera for vlogging but we didn't really research it properly, and we thought that I'd be able to see myself and I was recording myself, but you couldn't, so we had to send it back. Anyway, then I realised, I thought, listen, I'm muddling through with this iPad. I want a new sewing machine instead. So that's been ordered, and the sewing machine that he's got me is the one that Tilly and the Buttons uses. I have coveted it for years. It's that Janome DKS 100. It's not the special edition one. But in fact, I don't think I wanted the special edition one. I want the one with the original turquoise plate. Like, the look of it is what matters. But you know, it does look gorgeous, and it's going to be able to, I think, handle things a bit better than my little old brother that I've got there, that I've had for a few years now. He's done really well, but I'm getting on to, you know, more challenging things now. And oh, I bought the Megan Nielsen Ash jeans pattern, so I am going to need a machine that can handle denim anyway. So yeah, that's arriving. They told me it would arrive yesterday, but I think it'll probably arrive tomorrow. You get used to that sort of thing. That's just how it is living here. Yes, yes, you will get it today, ma'am. But I always take that with a pinch of salt, and I don't mind, because I am going to get it eventually anyway. And the other amazing thing about being here is that it's almost half the price. Sorry to make you a bit jealous there. But yeah, how amazing is that? Because I think it's about 550 quid or 500 and something quid in the UK. And we're getting it, I think it's like about £260, the equivalent to that. So how amazing is that? Lucky, lucky Lulu. Yeah, so I'll keep you posted on how things go with my culottes, the new culottes. And yeah, if there's, you know, anything you want to ask me, please put your questions in the comments. I hope this wasn't too long and boring for you. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all the new subscribers. It's absolutely lovely to have you on board. Have a gorgeous day, everybody, and yeah, follow me on Instagram. I do tend to be a bit more prolific on there than here, so at least you can see what's going on in my world by following that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and do subscribe. Thanks so much, lots of love, and keep stitching. Mwah.